Okay, tuning part 3. All right, so number 2, we were talking about the nut. More nut talk. So, first of all, if the strings are very high off the first fret, usually when you purchase a new guitar, they should be higher than they would be after a setup. Because when they come out of the factory, you wouldn't want them too low off the first fret, because after it settles and the neck settles, you wouldn't want that string to bottom out against the first fret, because now you're going to have to shim it or make a new one. So when you get a new guitar, the strings were probably high off the first fret. And when you press the string that's high coming out of the nut, it will play sharp at the first fret. And it'll probably play sharp at the second fret. And depending on the height, it may play sharp at the third fret. So it needs to be lowered to the proper height by a professional. Please don't do this at home. If you do it at home and screw it up, you're going to have to bring it into me, and you're going to have the nut shimmed or a new one made. So just leave it alone. Let the professional with the proper tools and knowledge do it. So, and the other thing is, when the string is vibrating, it is wearing down the bottom of the nut slot. If you take like an old Gibson and pull the string out and you see the front edge is all black, the front edge being here, that means the string is moving in there. Or sometimes it's so low you can see that it is tipped down. And what happens when it's like that is the open string is now actually a little longer than it should be. And that little tiny bit makes a huge difference for tuning. So the slot needs to be filed so that the string is pressing against the front edge of the slot. If that is worn down and the open string scale length is off, your open chords will never play in tune, no matter how much you tune them, because the open string is not relative to the frets anymore. So that's very important if you're doing a setup. That must be taken care of. Let's see. So that might be it about the nut. Part 2 had a lot of information about the nut. Now, if the neck has a lot of relief in it, and it has a forward bow, so it's higher in the center than on the edges, it will play sharper in the middle, because you're stretching the string to get down to the fret, and it will make it play sharp. So that fingerboard really needs to be quite straight. It needs to be as straight as possible and have these notes play clean. As long as these notes are playing clean, well, then let me reword that. Make it as straight as possible until these start to buzz, and then just loosen it a hair. A lot of people think there's supposed to be a curve, a big curve in the neck. No. Because if you have a big curve in the neck, when you play here, I like to say this would be the valley and these would be the mountains. So when you play in the valley, you're hitting the top of the mountain. So it needs to be straight in order to have nice, consistent tuning. Otherwise, when you play in the middle, you will be buzzing against these frets because it has a dip. So, and that can affect your tuning too. And if it gradually gets higher as it goes up the neck, which some of the necks are mounted pitched up like that, it will play sharper as you go up the fingerboard. So that may conclude the nut information and a little bit of the string action setup. But there's more to tuning, and stay tuned for part 4.